again, YouTube. This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with Scribblenauts Unlimited and Scribblenauts Unmasked. I get to do both of them today. It was a conscious decision, yes, to include both of them because I haven't had Unmasked in these commentaries in a little while. So I said, hey, why not create this object that we're doing today in Scribblenauts Unmasked as well? We're going to start off with a kid, just for our Scribblenauts Unlimited version. I seem to always do the Unlimited one first. I don't really have a real reason, I guess, for that necessarily. But yes, the kid here is the source object. We're going to take off all his limbs, and we're going to use one of Maxwell's brothers, actually this little short brother that he has. I guess you pronounce that name Deuce, but it could be like Duce or something like that. But yes, I will put up the usernames of who requested our object today as we are speeding on through here. This black body with red shorts and yellow shoes can only mean one thing. We are creating Mickey Mouse. This is an object dear to me in some ways because I actually, with Mrs. Kendo, my wife, we went to Disney World for our honeymoon. This would have been 2 summers ago. Basically 2012, that summer. So we went to Disney World. It was my first time. It was actually not her first time though. But yes, I've always had a soft spot for Disney. I like almost all things Disney. I'm happy to be creating their mouse mascot. So yes, we also used Kenpo, so another one of Maxwell's brothers. Everybody knows that he's kind of my favorite for the arms. And I kind of thought to myself, which iteration of Mickey am I going to do? Because, you know, there's a lot of ways you could have done Mickey Mouse. You could have done the Fantasia Mickey with the, you know, wizard hat on. I decided that you can see here I've used the little arm shape. It's just one of the shapes in the 29-page library, the general library. And that is what we use for the snout on like Sonic the Hedgehog and Tails and Knuckles and all them. Whenever I'm creating those hedgehog characters, I'll use this kind of this arm shape for the snout. It's actually a Hula Dancers arm, but you won't get that if you just type in Hula Dancer and take its arm. It's like a specific way that they made it, just like Tooth Fairy Wing, which is what I used for the white part of his eyes. This particular one that has that angry look to it is the Tooth Fairy shape that's in the general 29-page library. So you cannot just type Tooth Fairy Wings and get the same exact shape. It will come up with a shape, but it won't be the one that you see here. This is also the whites of the eyes that I used for Sonic the Hedgehog and those characters. And then we just used dots for his eyes and dots for the little buttons that are on his shorts right here. And Mickey Mouse has a really thin tail. I think it's almost like not noticeable sometimes actually. But what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and use this cat tail shape and paint it black. And we're gonna make it pretty tiny. Unfortunately, Scribblenauts, you can't like skew things, you know, you have to make everything change size as a whole. So for instance, if I wanted just to make something fatter or thinner, you couldn't really do that in the object editor specifically. You can of course add adjectives of fat or skinny to your finished objects, but I'm just talking about one particular stamp object. You know, if I wanted to change it, you wouldn't be able to do that. So the other decision I wanted to make here with Mickey is, you know, I'm thinking of just what kind of iterations I can do. I'm gonna put a Wii Remote actually in his hands here and kind of do an epic Mickey style Mickey for our Scribblenauts Unlimited one. We will change it up when we get to Unmasked, but I just thought that this would be kind of neat. It's a video game style of Mickey, of course. We used the sphere for the ears, of course. You can see the sphere. I liked that because it shows some depth. You know, it's like it's got the dark part of his ears on the top, and so it's like it actually is ears right there. So it's pretty sweet. The Wii Remote, of course, is just when you type in remote, and I put a dot for the little A button that's on the Wii Remotes, and then I'm gonna use this plus sign as the D-pad that goes up above. Unfortunately, I can't shrink it any smaller than that, so it's just gonna have to kind of work this way all jumbled up. But hey, I do like that. I mean, that still looks pretty sweet. And you know what's awesome is even that TV remote right there has a black tip. So it's just like the Wii Remotes have the little sensor thing, the black part on the edge of them. So let's name this creation Mickey Mouse. We'll put him on the field here, and yes, it looks pretty sweet. I definitely like how that turned out, as I say all the time, I guess, but it's good to be proud of these creations and have no regrets. So I hope everybody agrees that it looks good here for the Scribblenauts Unlimited version. But let's go ahead and, of course, move on to the other game, Scribblenauts Unmasked. So within Scribblenauts Unmasked, we're going to start off with one of the heroes that is really short like a kid. His name is Eugene. I believe that's going to be Choi or Chua. So however you pronounce that, I'm not familiar with the character. So we'll start off with him and make his little hip torso part right there red for the red shorts. And just color in the shirt the dark black color. So of course you guys know that I love to read the fun facts off about characters. Everybody pretty much knows Mickey Mouse, but hopefully these are things that are new to you that you didn't know before, or maybe it's just review, but anyway. Mickey Mouse of course became an instant hit on November 18th, 1928, when he premiered in the Steamboat Willie cartoons. This is actually something that I'm really familiar with, it was like where he would basically be turning the little wheel on the ship and be whistling and stuff. Maybe a lot of you guys remember that. It's of course in black and white. The drawings look way different than nowadays. At that time, of course, most studios were only doing silent cartoon films, but this was the breakthrough cartoon that actually was synchronized with sound. And Mickey was actually about to be named Mortimer Mouse, but Walt Disney's wife actually stepped in, saying that Mortimer sounded too pompous of a name, and so they changed it to the beloved Mickey Mouse. And our friend Mickey here also was the first cartoon character to receive his very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in Los Angeles, California. This was in 1978, and that would be his 50th anniversary of creation. And lastly, he only has 4 fingers, not just for aesthetic reasons, but also financial. Yes, Disney actually claimed that they could save the studios millions of dollars in drawing time if they just omitted his 5th finger. Being that they say a 6.5-minute short film involves about 45,000 drawings, I think, is what they said. So they literally did say that they could save millions if they just cut out one of the fingers. They also said that they felt it really looked strange, I guess, for their vision. It looked like he had 5 banana fingers, because his hands are already kind of huge, if you think about it. And so with that, that's all the fun facts that I'll spout off today, although you could probably find many others. This is one thing that I'm thinking is that I'll need to take away. I mean, the white part right here is okay. That's kind of how his eyes look, but I'm thinking about just taking that white away and just making them black eyes, trying to take a step back and look at this. We're doing the nose differently, of course, too, because the epic Mickey drawing and this regular Mickey that I'm looking at now, they are different. The epic Mickey has the white snout, whereas this Mickey Mouse and most Mickey Mouses that we see has that peachish yellow looking snout, as well as the white of his eyes, basically that big, huge part amidst all the black. That actually is also kind of that peachish shape, too. But I do kind of like how it would look with the white in the back and then the black eyes, so I'm just kind of going with the classic Sonic look almost for Mickey here. User choice. I don't need anybody to nitpick anything because, gosh, I know that people seriously nitpick about the smallest crap. So if you're one of those nitpickers, you really need to get a hobby or something. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Find some happiness in life. But yes, we've got Mickey Mouse here, almost done. Just creating his scripting. Again, I don't really go too far into the scripting, as everybody knows. I kind of like to leave that up to you guys. So being that this Mickey was started out with the source object of Eugene, that hero kid, he is going to fight whatever villains come out. So he will get in a fight and villains will fight him. So it'll basically have any of the scripts and things of a hero from this game, Scribblenauts Unmasked. So there he is. There's our unmasked Mickey. He looks good, but I think I kind of like the epic Mickey design a little bit more than I did on Scribblenauts Unlimited. But to end it off, I'll go ahead and show them side by side just so you guys can compare. I want to thank you, of course, always for your support. It's always really meaningful to me. I know whatever I say about requests, I know that there's going to be people who request things all the time, no matter what. It's really been happening a lot lately. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you I'm not taking requests until, seriously, it's going to be over 8 months probably by this point until I will actually take one, and it's going to be probably on a top comment kind of system. Basically, whichever comment has more replies or upvotes, likes to it. Basically, whatever comments receive the most attention for a creation, it'll probably be that I'll create that object in the next episode at that time. So I'm not talking about right now. I'm talking about this is going to be probably how the system will work in the future. I'm also really wanting to go with my own creations every now and then, where I create things that are based on whatever's happening in the gaming world. So like, for instance, it would have been a great time for me to create Cranky Kong actually a while back, because Nintendo had actually announced that Cranky Kong is going to be the 4th playable Kong in the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze game coming out for the Wii U in February. But hey, I kind of missed that opportunity. So I might do things like that, when a new game comes out or something like that that's really big for the Wii U or Nintendo worlds, I'll probably create the character that's in that game. But hey, this is just me spitballing. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday time, and so I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing. Search Dr. Kendo on iTunes or Amazon.